Hello everybody, I'm Josh and welcome back to Loki's Lair. I'm planning to start the journey soon of creating a new campaign for my Saturday group, and I've been sitting thinking about how I want to structure my game. What do I want this campaign to be about, and what central tensions do I want to use? Then I had this great idea. Well, let's make a video about it. I think we all ask ourselves this question when we start the creative process of world building, and it never gets easier to answer. My players and I want a nautical campaign, or at least a campaign that has some sea travel involved. So I've been looking at modules like the Isle of Dread and the Caverns of Thracia for inspiration, and I think I might merge the two together and add some extra sandbox elements to it. I'm trying to establish, though, what factors I want to use to create excitement. But when I look at other people's games, especially games that I hear about, I see that many of them are being run during what would be considered a stable period of time where civilization remains relatively stable and untouched. In these games, the threat in the whole point of the story really is one that challenges the stability of civilization. But what if we use different factors to prompt opportunity for an era to end and a new one to rise? The transitional period between eras is the unknown, where instability, chaos, and change occurs. Let's first define what an era is. I know most of you already know this, if not all of you, but let's just define it anyway. Well, it's a specific period categorized by political, cultural, economic, social, or technological change or features, right? A new era can be prompted by a number of factors, things that can just occur in the world. A full list that I've come up with is provided here. And these factors can be used to promote change within your campaign world and create some of the most interesting stories that your players can get involved with. The conquest of England by William the Conqueror, the Norman Duke, is defined as a pivotal event that took place in 1066, which marks the beginning of a new era in English history. The Normans who came over replaced much of the Anglo-Saxon elite who died in the battles of Stamford Bridge and Hastings, of course, and power was centralised with the establishment of a more organised feudal system. Language obviously shifted and changed as well, and uprisings formed as well in Wales and in the north of England. I think what I'd like to know is, have any of you guys had a campaign setting invaded before? Was it successful? What invaded? Was it orcs? Was it undead? Was it demons or devils? These are the types of questions that I'm interested in getting answers to. Have you, after 6 or 12 weeks of starting a campaign, turned around to the party and said, "There are rumours from merchants of a new collection of islands that haven't been explored yet with untold riches"? I don't know about you guys, but if I said that to my players, I'm pretty sure they would shit their pants. Enthusiastically, of course. And this is what I'm just trying to really think about right now, and this is what I want you guys to think about too. In the 5e Dungeon Master's Guide, and I know some of you guys don't like 5e, but I'm going to mention this anyway because it is useful. There is a section that talks about campaign events and the way that you can use them as sparks that can ignite and sustain a campaign. There are loads of options and plenty of information that talks about what each of them represent and how you can use them. Obviously, action or change for the sake of it won't provide long-term excitement for your players if you're constantly throwing pivotal events one after another at them. But using them little and often can really promote progression in your world and in your stories and avoid stagnation, which can definitely happen in our games. If you're running a homebrew campaign, I genuinely recommend either choosing or rolling for a few, maybe 2 or 3 campaign events that will serve as the foundation for your campaign. I usually have a campaign start with one, so something's just happening kind of straight away, and then I reveal another 1 or 2 as we progress. That way I can develop the first one and think about how I want to introduce the other ones as the story progresses, as to not, overwhelm my players with all this crazy shit that's happening around them. I'm planning to actually use the Conquest Invasion kind of point for my Baramaze campaign that I'm currently running, and I'm planning for the undead from the maze to actually march on the local duchy. I know it's a barony in the book, but it's a duchy in my campaign, and they're going to march in the settlements. And I know this isn't in the module, but I think it's going to be exciting, and it will promote some change in the region and get my players thinking differently. I'm going to play this out, this whole event, this scenario, over the next 4 to 8 weeks of play, so 4 to 8 sessions, and I'm going to drip feed them, various clues as to kind of get them prepared and ready for what is inevitably going to happen. And I think I've decided that no matter what, I definitely want the undead to win, but at what level they win will be determined on the players. If the players perform well, they will be able to save most people, be able to be in a strong position to fight them back in the future. But the idea is, I think the undead numbers are going to be so overwhelming that there is no chance of true victory. And I think that's okay. I don't think players should be able to affect every single event or scenario in your worlds. Some things are just going to happen whether your players are involved or not. In a previous campaign, I had a Red Wedding type scenario where most of the royal line was wiped out by poison and assassinations, and the party were there as guests of the king and his family, and they barely survived. And it led to one of the most compelling shifts in a campaign that I have ever experienced as a dungeon master. The party ended up leading armies on behalf of the new, king, who was this 13-year-old boy, Robin of the Vale type character, from anybody who's watched Game of Thrones. And considering that those players loved political intrigue, it was a real kind of ace in the hole for me as a dungeon master, and I know they really enjoyed it, so that makes me feel really, really good. So that is how you guys can shake up your campaigns, and I'd love to know how you guys have shook up your campaigns in the past. So let me know in the comment section below. Make sure to join my Discord if you want to get involved in my community and its events, and consider signing up to my Patreon either as a free member or a paid one if you want to gain access to charts, tables and systems to improve your games. I'll see you guys next time on Loki's Lair. Until then.